How they hung, everybody. So today I'm reviewing an interesting anime film by Mamoru Oshii called Angel's Egg. Now, this is a film that some people might have heard of, some people might not have. Um, Mamoru Oshii, he directed Ghost in the Shell and other popular Japanese films, and has even been praised by James Cameron. So, he's a pretty big name. But this particular film is going to be a bit hard to. It's going to be a bit difficult to review because he himself has stated he doesn't know what the movie is about. It's a very artistic and experimental film. So it'd be a tad difficult to explain because it doesn't really go off of an exact story, and there are points that don't make any sense. But I'll try my best to go through it. Now, this film has very little spoken dialogue. There's probably maybe, I'd say, a full 2 minutes worth of dialogue in the entire movie, which is only a little over 70 minutes, I believe, a little over an hour and 10 minutes. And there's only two characters, which are conveniently named boy and girl. They don't have specific names. That's literally what they're called. So the film opens up on girl scavenging for food and water through an abandoned city. She takes care of this egg, an egg that she just carries around with her all the time, never lets it out of her sight. But she runs into this guy, which is boy, and he gives her back the egg, which she apparently, maybe lost or something for a minute. I didn't really exactly see how he got the egg because I thought she was still holding it the whole time. But he gave her the egg back, saying that you should keep things, or you should keep your precious things inside you, which was a bit odd. But she did take it back anyways, and asked who he was, and he just said, or asked her what was in the egg. And she said that she couldn't tell him. And he said that the way that you find out what's in the egg is you break it open. And this kind of made her mad, and she ran away. So, yeah, a bit hard to follow. And then there's these fishermen that chase around shadows of large fish that seem close to whales almost. And they fire harpoons. They throw harpoons at these shadows of fish, but that's the thing. They're just shadows, so they're just hitting the streets and the walls of buildings and everything. Don't really know if they're dead or not because they kind of just came out of nowhere. Which again, it's just another odd point in this film. So this girl takes boy back to her home, where she lives, which is an abandoned building just outside of the abandoned city. I don't know why she wouldn't just live in the city, because it's a lot quicker to get to food there and stuff. But she takes him there, and he notices the carcass of what looks like a beached. What was the creature called? Leviathan. It's supposed to be like some kind of a giant biblical snake or something, or water snake. And she takes him into her home, and there's glass water bottles all over the place. It's something that she goes out and collects all these water bottles for some reason. And they end up talking about Noah's Ark. So this film also has some biblical elements to it as well. I also forgot to mention that at the beginning of the film, a giant thing came out of the sky, and it had a bunch of stone goddesses planted on it, like 1,000 of them. It was huge, and it sunk into the ocean after it came down from the sky. I just remembered that I needed to point that out because it's important at the end. So after he talks about the Noah's Ark story, he talks about a tree that he remembered from his childhood that looked like a tree that was in a carving in the building somewhere. And he explains that there was a giant bird that lived in the tree or on the tree. And he said that he doesn't know if it's there or not. He doesn't even know if the bird exists because it was so long ago. He can't remember. So Girl takes him up into this kind of a chapel area and shows him the skeleton of this bird, which was like an angel. And it was just the skeleton, and it was stone. And so that kind of told him that it wasn't a dream, it actually happened. And that the egg that she had was this bird. And that once the bird hatched, it was going to go back into the skeleton. I hope you're still following me. That night, after she falls asleep, Boy takes the egg and smashes it, and then leaves. She wakes up the next day, sees the egg smashed. She just bursts out crying and runs away, and she jumps off a cliff into a ravine, where she then, just before she hits the water, she kisses her reflection. She goes in the water, and then she turns into a full-grown woman, because she's only like a 10 or 12-year-old in this. She turns into a full-grown woman, and then she looks up towards the surface, and her last breath floats up to the surface, and all the bubbles become a bunch of eggs. And then the giant thing that came out of the sky with all the statues on it that went into the ocean came back up out of the ocean, still with all of the goddess statues around it, but now Girl is on a throne in the middle of this flying thing. And she's like a stone statue now, and she has an egg in her lap, and Boy sees this, and he just watches it go back up into the sky out of the ocean. It's a very odd film. Like, it's explained a lot better online, and if you just watch the movie, you can try and get something out of it. Now, the thing that I did like about the movie was that it expressed emotions from her, the girl, in certain scenes, despite the large lack of anything vocal throughout the entire movie. It was, I'll tell you, it was something to watch. It is art, though, to me. You know, it's different than what people call art. Like, a lot of people nowadays, and for like the past 50 years, have called art like these metal, twisted pieces of metal that look like a Quasimodo spider morph or something, or like someone splatting diarrhea on the bottom right corner of a white canvas and spraying ketchup all over the rest of it. People call that art for some reason. This film is a lot more like art. It's very captivating. It's very thought-provoking. It makes you think and try and put this together. But even if the movie doesn't have a meaning from the creator himself, you could try and still put some kind of meaning to it. Also, an interesting point in the film was the very last scene, which shows a shot of the entire city that appears to be on the bottom of a capsized boat. Like, just one small corner was the city. Like, it was weird. It was like the city was on the bottom of this capsized boat. And it could have been symbolic of Noah's Ark or something, since they were mentioning it through the whole, the one part of the film. Because it had biblical references to this whole movie. and it was a trip, I'll tell you that. I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art style. What little bit of vocal talent was performed in the film was spectacular. I loved it. And I rated the movie on my anime list, I think an 8 out of 10, but I would give this a 9 out of 10. It was a great movie to watch. I enjoyed watching it, even though it just confused me to no end, and still confuses me. But let me know if you've seen Angel's Egg in the comments. It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Definitely go see it, or go watch it. It's on YouTube. I don't know if they have it on like Crunchyroll or any of those other anime streaming sites, but it is on YouTube. You could go and watch it. It's only a little over an hour long, not too much of your time. And thank you for watching this video. Just so odd. But I will see you all in the next video. Peace.